Islam is the way of life. Islam is the way of life. Islam is the way of life. The way of life.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله صلى الله تعالى على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, Alhamdulillah, the many blessings of reciting through the Pak upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Indeed, Aqqa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said that the closest to me on the Day of Judgment will be the one who has recited through the Pak upon me in abundance in this world. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, over the previous episodes of this silsila, we have covered the different etiquettes and the sunnahs of eating and learnt how beneficial it is, both in terms of physical health, spirituality and mental health, to eat in moderation and to eat being careful. Today we live in a society which is dominated by food, a fast food culture which basically takes over our lives. Our lives unfortunately evolve around the type of foods we eat. Our life evolves around the meals that are about to come. And although in times gone past, eating was only once or twice a day, today, unfortunately, the scientists write that the average person is having almost 20 connections with food a day. So he is taking food in one form or another almost 20 times a day on average. We have become a nation of people who are constantly on the move, eating day and night. Eating has taken over our lives, yet this was not the way that was taught to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And although eating, Allah Azza wa Jal designed these bodies to eat in proportion, and eating was to make us healthy. Unfortunately, what we have done is taken this gift of Allah Azza wa Jal to such an excess that that same thing that was supposed to give us health and power and nourishment has become the source of our illnesses. Today, we overeat to the extent that it causes cholesterol levels to rise, it causes diabetes, it causes all sorts of other problems. Every time we eat fatty foods, our body has to deal with this. Cholesterol, now a thing which is mentioned regularly, has caused by eating the wrong types of food. In days gone past, people very seldom ate meat. Occasionally they had the pleasure of eating meat. Then there came a time where perhaps people were eating meat once a day. Today, unfortunately, our position is such that we eat every day. Even further than that, if we're served meat in the morning and it's not on the dining table in the evening, we raise an eyebrow. We expect meat to be there every time. Even when we cook vegetables, we encourage those in the household to throw a little bit of meat into it. The bodies weren't designed to eat this much meat, and the system in trying to deal with it breaks down and causes illnesses. Then with sugars, our bodies weren't designed to deal with so much sugar. When one drinks sugary or eats sugary foods, or you drink these fizzy drinks, in one can of fizzy drink, the scientists say there are 7 spoons or 7.5 spoons of sugar. When that gets into the bloodstream, the body then reacts and produces insulin to try and counter that. And eventually, because we're constantly eating and this sugar is making its way into our system, our pancreas and our body gives up and says, I can't keep producing insulin, and then we end up with diabetes. So although these were gifts of Allah Azza wa Jal, because we have been abusing them over time, we pay a price for them. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, I'm fine, I can eat what I want, and I'm healthy, and I seem to be fine. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, the difficulty is this, that your bodies should be lasting for 70, 80, 90 years. Yet, very few of us get past 40 and 50, and we're faced with these diseases, and we're faced with these difficulties. And the reason for that is simply overeating or eating the wrong type of food. Today, we are shying away from fruits, from vegetables. Takeaway food seems to be our life. We seem to make a habit of these. There is very little control that we have over what we eat. If the mind suggests it and the nafs suggests it, we pound upon this impulse and we want to fulfill this desire straight away. Yet, within this silsila, over the previous episodes, we've tried to highlight the many benefits of controlling your desires. Indeed, Amir al-Sunnah Dawud Barakatum al-Aliyah very beautifully sets out in the final chapter of this book what we should be doing. He Dawud Barakatum al-Aliyah says that we need to take care when preparing food. Our sisters should ensure that they reduce the amount of oil they use. Olive oil should be used as much as you can. Reduce the amount of chilies, reduce the amount of salt, and reduce the amount of spices by half. If you reduce everything by half, the beauty of this will be that you will still have the taste, but the harmful effects will be reduced. If we properly weigh things, rather than just simply estimating, a lot of problems will become less. Then we should make it a habit of only eating meat once or twice a week. Now, in the culture that we're in, this is very, very difficult. We've become accustomed to a culture where meat is the main dish that needs to be served every day, at least twice a day. But it wasn't like this, especially in this country 10, 15 years ago. The elders will confirm that meat used to be something which was cooked once a week or twice a week. And health was a lot better then. People were a lot healthier and they enjoyed the food more. Now, the quality of the meat is very poor. The quality of the meat and the processes that it goes through and the preservation techniques that it goes through means that the meat is not very beneficial. So the less we eat, the better it is. Even scientists say that an average person needs to eat meat perhaps once a week. Yet, we eat it every day, almost twice a day. And hence, problems like uric acid, and then crystallization of this acid in the joints, and then arthritis, all caused by overeating on these high quality foods, which the body wasn't designed to digest and deal with time after time, day after day. Once in a while was good. If we make it a habit that we have days where we have meat, and we have days where no meat is cooked in the house, then this will help with our appetite, it will help control our eating habits, it will improve our health, and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, it will improve our spirituality. Do not eat until you're hungry. Another beautiful Madani pearl by Amir al-Sunnah Dawud Barakatum al-Aliyah. And this is one of the problems we have today. We seem to be munching on food all day long. Try this snack, this packet of crisp here, this chocolate here, and then it just carries on. And suddenly we become accustomed to eating all the time. This habit then becomes so bad that from the point we wake up in the morning till when we go to bed in the evening, something needs to be in our mouth. Either we're doing that, and even when we're not eating directly, we're throwing a chewing gum and we keep chewing, so our mouth is constantly on the go. This is not right. If we were to eat only when we were hungry, there are untold benefits both physically and spiritually of this. And then Amir al-Sunnah Dawud Barakatum al-Aliyah says that Allah Azza wa Jal has created the body in a certain beautiful way, and certain parts have certain functions. So, it's the part of the teeth in the mouth to chew the food properly. Allow the saliva glands to digest the food, and then it is taken into the intestines. It is not the job of the intestines to be a substitute for the teeth. Now, when you chew the food, you not only enjoy the taste, because remember that it's just that the nafs wants that taste. So it's just that taste, but yet we've developed into a habit where we don't allow the mouth to sober the taste. We quickly throw the food in and down it goes. And as soon as the food passes the throat, passes the back of the mouth, that's it, the taste is over, that pleasure is over, and now is the time for difficulties. So Amir al-Sunnah writes that we shouldn't use our intestines to chew the food, we should use our mouth. Then we should stop eating while we're hungry. This has great benefits, as has been mentioned in the previous episodes. It will help you control your habits. We should give up this habit of eating till we're totally full. Today, we become accustomed to that. We think quitting before you're totally full is something that it doesn't make sense. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, it does make sense. It makes you respect food. It makes you appreciate this gift of Allah Azza wa Jal. It helps improve your health, and above all else, it is the beautiful sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to stop eating before you're full. Then today, we have all these fruit juices. Well, Amir al-Sunnah writes that if you want good health, avoid these fruit juices. Some of them have pure written on them and everything else, yet there is a lot of sugar mixed in them, and this sugar plays havoc with the body. Don't deceive yourself. The more you stick to water, the healthier you will be. Today, there's an epidemic of diabetes, and it's caused by all these sugary foods completely messing up the whole body that's created. Allah Azza wa Jal didn't create this body for you to literally throw food into it like a factory processing raw material. This body was very blessed. It's very beautiful, but only if we respect it and use it in the right way. Amir al-Sunnah writes, limit the use of food which contains fat, superfine flour and sugar, and stay away from things like ice cream, because they cause a lot of problems. Cold drinks, fried foods, commercially cooked dishes, fast food, things like this, because you will pay a price for these. They play absolute havoc with your body. And over time, when you're young, you may not notice this, but as you get older, your body starts to give up. And in the olden days, we see that our elders, because of their good eating habits, they used to be 60, 70 and quite healthy. And today, more and more youngsters at the age of 40 to 45, tied down with diseases, ailments, illnesses, and have problems after problems, have huge stomachs caused by overeating, do not exercise, and then end up in hospital after having heart attacks and strokes and severe diabetes. But controlling what you eat, staying away from toffees and chocolates and these things is good. Occasionally, one can have snacks. One doesn't advocate totally against no snacking, but make sure it's occasional and make sure it's the right thing. For example, nuts, almonds, cashew nuts, all these things are good and they help you. So if you're feeling slightly hungry but it's not mealtime, perhaps a few almonds, or as mentioned in the previous episode, a few raisins help settle things down. But today, it's the excess that causes a difficulty. Amir al-Sunnah gives us some beautiful Madani pearls on how to help control things. So reduce the amount of meat that you're eating. Reduce the amount you're eating generally. Stay away from these sugary drinks and juices and everything else. Stick to water. And then he says, if you want to drink tea, then drink half a cup. Reduce your intake by half. And then, instead of adding sugar, which is harmful, add honey, which is pure and has blessings in it. And gradually, a lot of brothers say, well, I can't get used to it, it's difficult. It's only a matter of time. If you try it for a few days constantly, you'll become accustomed to it and you will begin to like it. Try and avoid sweet dishes. Instead of using sugar, try and use honey as much as you can. And try and see that you can if you can control the amount of sugary foods you can eat. Then another beautiful Madani pool, a Madani flower given by Amir al-Sunnah is this: the exercise is good for you and we should do it. And everybody should walk. The more you exercise, the more you burn, the more you help your body, and the healthier you become. And the intention, as mentioned in the previous episodes, is that the healthier I stay, if I could stay healthy till 60, 70 or 80 as the elders used to, I can carry on standing on my feet and standing in the court of Allah and praying, and I don't have to sit down in the chair, and I can walk to the masjid and I can carry on reading the Quran, and I'll have the stamina. And with this intention, try and walk half an hour every day so that you can stand in the court of Allah for longer. You can pray, you can cry in the court of Allah in the position of prostration because you're healthier and because you're more lean. To walking regularly, Amir al-Sunnah says, is a must. At least half an hour a day, inshallah. And this will help with cholesterol, with uric acid, with weight gain and everything else. And then, really ideally, he says that we should be walking at least an hour a day. And this will improve your health so much and protect you from so many diseases, inshallah, that it will make you strong, not only for Madani work and for praying and standing in the court of Allah, but also to help you fulfill your daily obligations of normal life as well. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And then the more you do this, the stronger you become. Because if somebody walks an hour every day trying to look after their health, they will then try and control the foods they eat. And gradually over time, all of this helps. The little bits start coming together. So the walking for half an hour and an hour a day, the avoiding meat every day, and then the eating less, avoiding sugary foods, and alhamdulillah, using honey, all these blessings start to come together. And the person realizes that it's foolish just for those few seconds of taste on the tongue. I am putting my future at risk. Once this food has passed through my mouth, that's it. The taste is gone, my enjoyment is gone. But now the troubles start. And Amir al-Sunnah writes here very beautifully. He says it's just that moment of taste. Whether it's dried barley bread or luscious spicy biryani, once it's past this tongue, but if it's dried barley bread, it will digest, having been chewed properly, and disperse, and give you energy to do your daily tasks. But if it's very rich, spicy, heavy biryani, it will go into your system and play havoc. And it will make your life more difficult and lead you to the doctor. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, we should be lean. Amir al-Sunnah writes that Islamic brothers shouldn't have a big belly. They shouldn't have a stomach which has been created by overeating, because the body naturally stores excessive energy as fat around here, around the waistline. This is why a lot of people who overeat have big stomachs. So it's better to be lean, and it's preferred. And the hadith of Barakah quoted in one of the previous episodes in relation to Allah liking a lean person, controlling your food is better. A lot of people have backache, and the doctors write that this is caused by carrying this excessive weight. If your body weight increases, your skeleton isn't designed to carry the extra weight, and people then develop back problems, etc. But by walking regularly, by eating in moderation, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, you reduce your body weight and your back becomes stronger. Then Amir al-Sunnah advises us very beautifully that if you look at times that passed, people used to eat once a day, and then gradually they started to eat twice a day. And that eating 3 times a day is not recommended. It's a far cry from today, where we're eating constantly 5, 6, 7 times a day. But what Amir al-Sunnah recommends is that with the intention of applying the Madani guard on the stomach, try and eat just twice a day. Cut out one of the meals so that you're eating twice a day. this will help improve your health greatly. Amir al-Sunnah writes that it will have a tremendous effect on your body, and the benefits will be great. You will be able to control a lot of things. Then, Hidam al-Barakatullah writes that we should eat fruits regularly. Even though fruits can increase body weight, the benefits of these are so great that they far outweigh any possible detrimental effects. So, eating fruits regularly, even scientists today tell us, provide us with a lot of vitamins and minerals that we need. Eating vegetables regularly, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, will help increase your health and will make you a better person. And just all you're doing is controlling what you do. Then Amir al-Sunnah recommends that you regularly get your blood checked. Because if there is a problem, say for example you are diagnosed with high cholesterol, if you know now, you can start reducing your food intake, you can start acting upon these beautiful sunnahs of Rasulullah ﷺ that we've been talking about, and reap the rewards of doing that. But if you had a heart attack, God forbid, and then you ended up in a chair, not being able to move properly, or had a stroke because of the high levels of certain chemicals in your body and the high blood pressure, and then you were paralyzed on one side and you couldn't do anything, you would regret it. So Amir al-Sunnah recommends that you have regular blood tests and then act upon the results. And sometimes it's the kickstart we need to change our eating habits. Maybe that blood test where you have that warning sign and it straight away tells you to improve your eating habits. For example, things like uric acid. Look at the warning system that Allah Azza wa Jalla has built into the system. Those who have uric acid, it's caused by eating excessive meat. It's called the rich man's disease. And it's caused by eating excessive meats and fish and etc., things with purine in them. Now, Allah Azza wa Jalla has designed a beautiful system where the first signs that you normally get is that your big toe starts to swell and ache, and the pain is excruciating. And when you go along to the doctor, you think, I've not injured my toe, what is the problem? The doctor says, you have got gout. It's caused by uric acid. You need to now this is a big warning sign. You need to now control the amount of meat and the amount of fish you eat and the amount of certain types of food, because the uric acid in your system, which is a naturally occurring substance, is so high that crystals are being deposited in the joints, and then when they're rubbed together, they're causing you excruciating pain. The warning signs are there. If you act upon them, you can control it. If you don't, you will have a life of misery because you're constantly in pains. So having a blood test and knowing early on is very, very beneficial. Then, high levels of cholesterol. If you find out that you've got high levels of cholesterol, Amir al-Sunnah writes, then you can start controlling the amount of fatty foods you eat, the amount of butter and cooking oil and egg yolks and snacks and salted snacks and bakery items and beef and pizzas and takeaway food that you're eating and ice creams and creams. All these things, then you will know these are a grave danger to you, so you will avoid them. If somebody advises you generally and says, well, stop eating these, the mind doesn't take it on board. The nafs is too strong. But if you know that your cholesterol is very high, you're close to a heart attack, it gives you that extra enthusiasm to make sure that you control your health. And in this way, it is well advised. And Amir al-Sunnah says that you should go and have regular blood tests, so that if you find anything wrong with yourself in the blood, the telltale signs, the warning signs, you can take those warning signs. Another beautiful Madani pearl that Amir al-Sunnah writes, especially for uric acid and gout, but generally as well in relation to a lot of diseases, he recommends drinking significant amounts of water during the day and night. 40 glasses if you can. And even if the water reaches to your throat, don't worry. Although you may have to go to the bathroom regularly, the beauty of this will be that by washing the system out, and doing this regularly, you will reduce your levels of uric acid and flush the whole system out, and it will make you feel better. My dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, there are untold benefits of controlling what you eat. This silsila has covered all the different things. It is not easy to control. In fact, some of the scholars write that it is one of the most difficult things to control. But one of the most beautiful ways to try and control what you eat is to try and bring your eating habits in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we learn the Sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we will gain great benefits and great rewards. A lot of the time when we sit down to eat, we're talking, we're doing everything else, we're sat at the table, food comes, we're serving from the dish, we're not caring about how we're eating, what we're doing and everything else. And we forget after a few days. But just think, if we made it a habit that whenever food was served, we washed our hands in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we did kanika wuzu, then we sat down, we read the dua, straight away you're triggering in your mind that I have to eat in moderation. Then, in accordance with Sunnah, you took your plate and you started to eat with 3 fingers from your side of the plate. You started to take small morsels in accordance with the Sunnah. You started to chew your food in accordance with the Sunnah, and you kind of kept in your mind that I'm only going to eat what I need to eat, and I'm going to try and refrain from overeating. If you kept in your mind the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the worst vessel that the son of Adam fills is his stomach, and that the maximum, not the starting point, but the maximum, in accordance with the rationale of the hadith in Barka, is that 1/3 of your stomach should be filled with food, 1/3 with water, and 1/3 for air, and work on that basis. But the more you act upon the sunnahs, the more you remember this at the time of eating, so that when food was served, if you sat on the floor on a dastarkhan, in accordance with the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, raised your right leg up, sat there eating with 3 fingers, with your head covered, with your shoes taken off, with your family, talking about the good things, talking about the Sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you did that regularly, it would help you control your eating habits. It would help you appreciate this amazing blessing of Allah Azza wa Jal, and it would help you to keep healthy, this amazing gift of this healthy body that Allah Azza wa Jal has given you, so that you can remain in the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal for longer. The healthier you are, the stronger you are, the more you can stand in salah, the more you can sit and read the Quran, the more you can partake in Madani activities, the more you have the health to travel within Madani kafilas of dawat islami, the better you are at attending these namaz on a Thursday night. And alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, the healthier you are, the more you can work to please Allah and His beloved Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us all the tawfiq to act upon all the sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in relation to eating and maintaining healthy bodies that we can for the rest of our lives. Ameen.
Islam is the way of life. Islam is the way of life. Islam.